Hey, what's up? It's Pastor Brian here with Pastor Brian, and we wanted to come to you because there's been a lot going on. Many of you probably heard Governor Hogan's announcement, so I wanted to ask Pastor Brian to spend a few minutes with us and kind of get the details, see what's going on. Pastor Brian, how does the most recent announcements affect us?
Well, it's definitely something that we need to address because we've been working really hard to create a very, very safe environment for folks. And so we even delayed opening, a little bit beyond when we could have opened. Many churches opened in June. I think that was official reopening time. We delayed to August because we need to make sure that every process was in place. And so the good news is that Governor Hogan's announcements about being 50% capacity, we're way below that. So we've created environments that have about 25% capacity with maximum social distancing and all of the sanitization processes that are in place. We sanitize before and after every service, and we have tons and tons of protocols in place that keep us safe. So it really honestly does not affect us because we've already proactively created an environment that is far safer than a 50% capacity. So that's the good news. The oddity in that is that I know almost back to back with this surge, many of the schools are starting to close. And so a lot of folks are like, wait a minute, does that mean
What's that mean for family?
Yeah, do we need to close all the family ministry? And of course, we had to take a step back and say, well, let's evaluate that because we want to keep families safe, but we also believe, and this is important, we also believe that the call and the command to have physical in-presence gatherings is biblical. Some may not feel that, some may not believe that. We absolutely, positively believe that not only is that biblical and nice, but it's actually necessary. And I know in the recovery ministries, as you would attest, we're seeing an incredible spike, not just in COVID, but also in a lot of the mental and emotional wellness.
Yeah, it's been hard.
It's epidemic levels. And so we certainly want to make sure that what we do, I've told folks, closing churches during a pandemic is as rational as closing the hospitals. We are an essential business.
Yes.
And the fact is, when people are hurting, the church is needed now more than ever.
Yeah.
And so when we took a step back, we said, well, what about the schools? It makes sense because the amount of time and the amount of space constrictions that they have in a school environment and just the ability to be able to create spaced environments. It's very difficult in a school.
Yeah.
Having a kid in a classroom 5 days a week for 8 hours a day is radically different than an approximate 50-minute program with maximum spacing and all the protocols in place. So it's a very, very different environment. So we immediately said, absolutely not. We don't need to shut down family ministry.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you pointed that out because there is a unique difference between the two. You're right, and understanding why schools are, but yet we're not. Just hitting on that fact that they're in a classroom, in a building all day together. Is certainly different than our families, our children, who we care about, we love very much. Family ministry is so important to us. Being in there for 50 or 55 minutes, that is a unique difference. I mean, for sure.
It's very different, and thank God that we have the facilities that we do, because we don't use small, cramped classrooms, that are enclosed. We actually have wide spaces, and so we're able to do more with that. Thank the Lord. But we also believe, and again, I just want to keep hammering this because it's so critical. We also believe, man, the kids have taken enough hits. The fact is, our kids need environments like what we say. I just got a text today, this morning, from a family that said, "Man, thank God that the church is open because my children cannot wait to be able to be in an environment in church and in an environment where they're having social activity with other kids and actually being around some other kids." Because they've just been enclosed with the virtual learning. It's so hard. But the good news is we're not a school, we're a church, and so what we do is radically different than a school. And so it makes sense for us to continue to remain open.
It made me, when you said that, I was thinking about my granddaughter, Penelope, comes here on Sundays, which she loves, and it's been so good for her to be able to interact with not only Emma, who's in her classroom as a leader, but the other kids. She looks, so forward to seeing them. And I think the other thing is, not only is this different from the school, but the one thing that I love about this church, and I just want to give a shout out to our facilities, and you guys watching need to know this, our facilities does a great job of making sure that our environments are safe with their cleaning and their protocols, as you said, and and I think the things that our family ministry does. Again, your well-being is so important to us, and our family ministry doing registration and temperature checks, and they're cleaning in between services. I mean, we are doing a lot of things to make sure that, quite frankly, that we continue to keep people safe like we have since we started back for in-person services. We thank God that we've not had these incidences that we've seen in other areas of business or in things, and so we're grateful for that. But I think that's a testament to facilities and family doing such a great job.
And the good news with facilities is that though this recent surge may have caught some off guard, clearly hadn't caught us off guard. We've had 9 months. 9 months of careful planning and preparation to make sure that we could have safe, socially distanced services. And that's actually, as you said, the facilities teams have done a phenomenal job to make it so that we can continue together. Now, as though that weren't enough to deal with back-to-back, we've talked about Christmas. And so
tell us about Christmas.
We said,
is Christmas still on, or what?
We said, COVID, you can't have Christmas. And so we worked to plan and dreamed as big as we could to create the largest box that we could, which for us is the Civic Center. And so we had secured the Civic Center rental to be able to do that for Christmas Eve services. And we were notified this week that that's off. And so, being a county government organization, they made a decision that they were not going to allow hosting, our services, of course, obviously at our sizes. And so we had to, the good news is, the bad news is we're not the Civic Center. The good news is we had a little preparation. So we have anticipated that what if that didn't work out? Do we simply just kind of skip Christmas, or what do we do this year? And so we got together, and we've already come up with a plan to be able to have services spread out through that Christmas week from the 20th all the way through the 24th. And so we'll be putting together information to let folks know. The good news again, we do have 3 venues. We opened a 3rd venue recently. We call it the Watch Party in the Ridge. Now with 3 different adult venues, we have the ability to host Christmas services as long as we spread it out over a greater amount of time. So we're planning. We're in the background. We're planning on that. So the good news is, COVID, you didn't get Christmas.
No,
that's the good news. And we will still have Christmas. And we'll be offering Christmas over many more days. And here's kind of cool thing I was thinking this morning. Even though I'm disappointed in the Civic Center, it's cool to get all the family together. Even though I'm disappointed about that, and I really am disappointed, I also started wondering, how many people would not have been able to make it to our services because it was only one day?
That's a good point.
And there'll be people who are like, hey, man, I'm traveling, the day before or whatever. I wouldn't be able to do that. Maybe God knew what He was doing.
He might have, and that's one of the things I loved about Oak Ridge before I had the privilege of being on staff, of just all the options. And I'm with you. I'm glad that we're kind of coming back to that, to be honest with you, because it gives so many options for you, your family, and then hey, it's the joy of owning the shopping center. We get to spread that out into different venues so that people still feel safe and comfortable. So good. That's good.
It'll be safe. It'll be socially distanced, but it'll also continue to have the option of being online. So that'll also be for some folks that are just unable. Maybe they're in the red light. We call them the red lighters. Green light, we're all good to go. Yellow light is there's a little bit of caution. Maybe I live with someone, that's partially compromised, or maybe around someone. Red light, I'm personally, vulnerable to that. And so we want to continue to offer everything online. So hats off to our tech teams as well. Give them props every time you see them, to let them know thank you so much for what you do, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this video, much less our services. And really, honestly, what a phenomenal job they're doing on the weekends, presenting this material and getting it out there in a way that is high quality and packaged in a way that people can continue to be a part of our church, even though they're not currently meeting in person. So, and we'll just keep praying. I believe God's going to, we're going to get through this together, and hopefully first quarter, but if not, it's going to happen.
Well.
And, I know we're all fatigued a little bit. I know I certainly am. But the fact is, we are going to get through it. and we are going to move forward. And I am excited that we're building that building, and that's continuing. So if you haven't driven by it lately, you might want to come by and check it out, because a lot's going on out there. And that should be ready on the back side of this thing to see what God's going to do kind of in phase 2. So it's going to be really cool. So those are the updates. If you have other questions or stuff, be sure you continue to check in on our Facebook page. Please subscribe to that, Oak Ridge Baptist Church Facebook page, as well as our website. And right now, all the Christmas activities, as they change on the fly, orbc.net/Christmas. And we're excited, and we also want to make sure that you're inviting someone, because I believe people need hope.
Yes, they do.
They need hope. And so that's why this year God laid on my heart, you know what? The message needs to be the hope of Christmas, because Christmas brought hope that the world did not have until Jesus came. So we want to give that hope. We want to spread that hope. And I believe people need it now more than ever. This is not the time to curl up in the corner and die.
Right,
This is the time to celebrate hope and the hope of the world. So those are our announcements. If you have questions, please let us know. And we'd be happy to address that. But pray for us, and we'll be praying for you. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
We love you guys. Christmas is still on, and we'll see you soon.